Okay. All right. Yeah. Hey. Hi. All right. I'm muted. That's awesome. I just made an entire great joke about how awesome my new sound system is and everything. And then I look at the screen and realize I'm muted. So I'm off to a great start. I hope everyone out there is enjoying this content so far. Yes, it is just me right now. I think some people are going to be popping in here. Thank you, Clinton House. I'm Depper. You're muted. Green hair is there, says can't hear, LOL. Yeah, I'm a total boomer today. I can't get anything to figure out. The reason I did one of these great big upgrades with everything, this little sucker right here was a chunk of change all on its own. But I have this amazing Elgato Stream Deck sitting right in front of me here. I think I can show it to you. Look at that. Look at how fancy it is. LED buttons. It can do anything and everything. I have it programmed with a bunch of sound effects right now, and I can't get it to work at all on YouTube, or rather with StreamYard and OBS. It won't work. I can't figure it out. I'm talking to people who know this kind of stuff, and we're all scratching head going, I have no damn clue. So I am so happy. I'm happy all you all out there are here. Thank you. Sheila's in here thoroughly enjoying it though. Let's see. Hello, Kiwi Les. Hi from New Zealand. Blessing to all the vets. Well, hello to New Zealand. Welcome to Vets Talking. Happy to have you here. Thank God you got rid of the gay flashing mic. It's still here. It's right there under the desk. It's gonna stay there for a while. I think at the very least it'll be good for a mobile mic. I can use that whenever I'm on the road, which I'm hoping I can do more of, like I did just recently with the Vegas trip, and then a week in Tombstone, Arizona. So I'm gonna have that sucker packed up, and I guess there will be appearances of the gay mic in the future. But at least this one looks a lot less gay. I think it sounds fantastic. Let me know in the chat if I'm coming through well enough. I think everything sounds. So everything was sounding. Have I turned it on and off again? Green hair, gal. I've tried everything. I tried everything I could think of, and I'm not that great with this kind of technology. I don't like OBS. I haven't wanted to mess around with it, but apparently that was going to be the solution to making this work, and it just won't work. I have no clue. I have no clue. But we're gonna go ahead and get this kicked off here real quick. Like I said, there's probably gonna be some people popping in. This was never this Thursday show. This is a political show, politically focused, and it was never gonna be a big panel like our Saturday stream always has 9-10 people in there. A lot of fun while we're drinking and all that. And I'm getting extremely drunk when I have the really generous people in there. Wookie Be Bad and Blue Core Devil, you are some crazy sons of bitches. You get me drunk every Saturday night. So this show, I think, again, I said this before, this is going to be a smaller panel, only veterans, as much as we love our non-veteran friends like Sheila out there. And in fact, actually, green hair gal, if you're available, if you want to come on, go ahead and hop on. I will send you a link. I mean, why not? I didn't even think I keep on forgetting that you're not in our YouTube group or Twitter group. So yeah, I'll go ahead and send you a link. And if you want to hop on, you can hop on. But that being said, I am going to do this though. I am still going to have some drinks. If you guys want to, I'll go ahead and put this in here. Any super chat, I'll give you guys social. I've been drinking a little bit. This is just my first can of beer tonight, actually, and $20 or more. I do have, as always, my Redneck Riviera here. Wonderful whiskey made by John Rich, and part of the proceeds go to the Folds of Honor project. So we will do that. If anyone wants to be generous and drop some super chats, then I will do that. Green hair, serum, some steak right now, but maybe after. Okay, well, I'll send you a link, and if you can hop on, you can hop on. If not, no big deal. We're gonna go through a few of these topics. The one that I have in. Oh, hello, Twisted Pixie. Welcome. Good evening. The topic that I have, I wasn't even planning on this topic, and I wasn't planning on going anything quite this direction. But when I woke up this morning, this immediately popped up on my headline about this Navy ship. I'm going to pull that article up here in a second. Let me send this real quick to green-haired anti-liberal. There you go. I sent you a link. And Green Hair Anti-Liberal is being generous as well. Holy crap! I wasn't expecting this. I actually had a plan. Somebody gave me an idea last week. Someone here at the lake gave me an idea to do these streams, to eat a pepper for some shots or for super chats. And I was like, well, you know what? I'm not going to eat a damn pepper for every single super chat. But what I think I can do is say an accumulation of like $50, and I'll eat one of those like ghost pepper chips. And then come to find out the ghost pepper chips like $20. But I found like something equivalent nearby, and I was going to get these for like $5, and they're not here. So I'll figure something out. I think that's something that'll be fun. If I was, sitting here torturing myself while I'm trying to read a news headline, I think that'd be something fun to do. But nonetheless, Green Hair is here. LOL, meant to say sending because I can. Well, I mean, I got the joke, Al. Tiff, thank you very much. $20 by Green Hair Anti-Liberal. Good, new friend of the show. Welcome. Thank you very much. Here's to you. All right, we're off to a great start with the shot. I do love that whiskey, but I'm a sipping whiskey kind of guy. I prefer to sip my whiskey rather than shoot it. This is fantastic whiskey, though, but it's not expensive. It's really good, but not expensive. It's like $21 for this bottle. So it's a great cheaper whiskey. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and pull this article up. Poisoned water. How a Navy ship dumped fuel and sickened its own crew. So this popped off this morning. And what I think this is a big story that only just came out. Hail to you, Clinton Hash. So I'm going to go through this a little bit, but this investigation, this is something at military.com, which me and some of the guys last week, we talked about how military.com, Military Times, Army Times, Navy Times, all those different times, those different magazines / newspapers that the military have are really liberal mouthpieces for the military now. So I trust very little what comes out because they've been defending the drag shows. They've been defending the military in general when it comes to a lot of these woke policies that have been coming out. But I do know that they do still do investigative work. And this is an investigation. This story has been getting investigated since 2016 was when this incident happened. And when this came out this morning, I guarantee there are a lot of sailors out there that fucking turned their dress white uniform pants brown when they saw this drop, because this is damning. This is really fucking damning. This is a very long article. They went into work on this thing. So I'm gonna cut through most of this. Okay. So here's where we go. Okay, so the USS Boxer. This is the flagship for the Boxer amphibious ready group. The large boxy ship carries more than 1,000 sailors as crew and around 1,500 Marines. Thousands of sailors and crew around 1,500 Marines. This thing is like relative size. I think it's smaller than an aircraft carrier. I'm pretty certain it is definitely smaller than an aircraft carrier. I know that's the biggest one, but this is big. Like, this is comparable to an aircraft carrier, is how big this thing is. The ship's largely hollow interior is typically packed with dozens of armored vehicles and amphibious craft the Marines would use to land and operate ashore. While flight deck holds some combination of Osprey, tilt rotor aircraft, Harrier jets, and Super Stallion heavy helicopters. Hold on, I got to pull the live chat back up on my phone here so I don't miss you guys. If you guys drop any comments, I need to see, because I got the article pulled up here is all I can see right now. All right. All this gear and equipment is designed for one goal: to enable the Marines to respond at a moment's notice to conflict or disaster. In 2016, the ship deployed with the 13th Marine Expedition Unit, which I'm going to call MEU from now on, to participate in a naval exercise around Pohang, a port city off the South Korea's east coast. It was moving through that area in the days prior to March 15th. Okay, yeah, this does go into a lot of detail. Okay, so I'm going to have to get to the cliff notes here, because I read this whole thing this morning and it blew my mind. I completely forgot I was going to highlight the cliff notes that was really important here. Okay. I'm going to give you basically a breakdown. So here's one thing that's very interesting is one, military.com has contacted a few people. And some of the people that they reach is these oil techs. These oil tech guys, which from my understanding, are people who are responsible, like it sounds, for measuring and getting the readings of the oil that's going on in the fuel and probably around the rest of the ship. And there's three of them, and they admitted that you're not supposed to dump fuel into the ocean, which I think everyone knows that sounds like a very bad thing, but apparently it happens on a pretty consistent basis. These guys admitted, and these guys even said that that it happens often, but they would never admit to it because they know that it will. Okay, actually, it says all of the sailors describe dumping fuel as common procedure on Navy ships, typically an uneventful action where fuel dissipates into the surrounding water as it steams on. Which so they're saying, okay, well, it's okay because at least it'll dissipate. Well, it's still pretty fucked up. They also said that they believe it is illegal to dump fuel, although they couldn't point to a specific law. Outside legal experts consulted by military.com said that the legality is unclear for warships. Arms said, I think this is one of the oil techs. Arms said before dumping fuel, the oil lab would usually ask for permission from the engineering officer of the watch, who would then ask permission from the bridge of the ship. This person says, I remember because the person on watch, Emerson asked, do we have permission? Arms explained. He, Gonzalez, who's the person who's telling him to dump it, says, I'm giving you permission. Which right there means do what I say, motherfucker. Don't ask questions, just fucking do it. I know exactly that kind of answer. We came on watch, and I want to say maybe 10 minutes into watch, he told us to go ahead and align and start dumping. Arms and Emerson told military.com that Gonzalez told the oil lab to dump the fuel off the starboard or right side of the ship. On the left side of the ship, evaporators are routinely sucking up seawater to turn into potable water to avoid contamination, the sailors explained. It's paramount to keep the ship moving. So that's key right there. Shortly after the fuel was dumped, an all-stop order came from the bridge, cutting the engine's thrust. So, okay, so I'm just going to keep on reading. I hope you guys don't mind me just reading this article, but it's fucking nuts. This is going to be a big story. I'm telling you. I don't know how, like, if, CNN, Fox News is going to talk about it, but this is going to be a big fucking deal. This is really messed up. Like, this is like the amount of cover up and everything that's happening here. Like, it reminded me of the story of Chernobyl with all the different chain of fuck ups and all the different people who are being suffering from this and everything. Okay. All stop. Arms described a mad scramble as the crew in the oil lab realized that the ship would almost immediately start sucking up the fuel as it sat stagnant in water. So if you guys aren't picturing, so the oil or the fuel was being dropped off ejected out the starboard side, the right side of the ship, because the left side of the ship has water continuously being sucked up for potable water, which means anything that's clean enough to drink with, shower with, do your laundry with, that water is a constant cycle. It's being pulled up. So when the ship is moving, it's not a problem because the fuel will just dissipate off the right side and be behind the ship while the water is still being sucked up on the left side, the port side. So it's not a problem, at least not for the water. I still think it's really fucked up to know that our ships are dumping fuel into the ocean like that, though. See, the ship log notes that officers on the bridge ordered the ship to come to a complete stop twice that day. And then they talk about the different instances, blah, 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 blah. The second was at 9:46, and it didn't start moving again until 11:38. So that's a long time. It was just sitting there. See, crew members who spoke to military.com said that 7 years later, they couldn't recall the exact timing of the fuel dump. Let's see. Once we started feeding from that feeding tank for potable water, the entire ship was contaminated, said Costo. It's all in the lines. It's in everything. You cook with it, you bathe with it, you drink it. Boxer, this is diesel fuel. This is fucking diesel fuel that they're doing everything with. The Boxer, which is the ship, creates its own fresh water through a fairly basic, simple problem. I'm not going to talk about that. There's a process of desalination where they take the salt out of the water and make it potable. However, if there's fuel in the mix, the fuel. Can you guys still hear me? My audio just dropped off on my testing test. Can you guys hear me okay? Give me a thumbs up if you guys can hear me okay. It sounded like audio just popped off, just dropped off in my ear. Can you guys hear me or not? Somebody drop something in the. Okay, all good. All right. This is funky. Okay, I'm just gonna take this earpiece out. I don't even have any. Well, no, somebody pops back in, then I need to hear them. Okay, where was I? Okay, sorry about that. New technology, new devices. 5x5. Thank you. Okay. Once the fuel was in the water, it would not have been easy to get it out, according to Arms and Costo. Expelling that much water would affect the overall stability of the ship. Even if dumped, the water storage tanks themselves would need to be flushed, a process that did not occur until 2 months later when the ship pulled into the port of Jebel Ali in the United Arab Emirates. Just blah 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 blah. Arms gave another reason for not dumping the contaminated water. They would now have to admit someone fucked up, he said. In other words, they're just letting people do it. They're letting people drink the water, cook with the water, shower with that water, and no one will admit anything because no one will say anything because someone will have to admit someone fucked up. Gonzalez, who retired from the Navy as a chief warrant officer, said he did not recall any water contamination during the 2016 deployment. Gonzalez, if I remember right, going back here, Gonzalez was the one who gave those oil boys, said, "I'm telling you to dump the fuel." And so, he doesn't recall anything. I would say fuel didn't get into the water supply because I remember correctly. All the water chemistry was sanitary. As far as I can remember, and I have a pretty good memory, there was no dumping of tanks or anything, Gonzalez told military.com. Wow, he's got a great memory, he says. No one remembers something massively catastrophic as poison an entire ship. Multiple Marines and sailors said then Navy Lieutenant Dana Lilly, the Boxer's senior medical officer at the time of the incident, informed the ship that the water was safe to drink. Military.com reached out to Lilly, who's now lieutenant commander, multiple times. She did not respond. Wonder why. Gonzalez shouldn't have even said anything. I don't know why this dumbass even talked to them. I would have just pled the fifth, just no comment. This guy really fucked himself by even talking to them. Again, this is all alleged, but holy shit, this definitely sounds like a massive fuck up. Gonzalez added there would never have been any water, unsanitary water, that would have gotten into the system. It's impossible. This is probably just a mess deck rumor. It's impossible. Like to say Chernobyl would be impossible to explode. It's impossible for the ship to come to a full stop and empty fuel while sucking in water at the same time. He says this is impossible. I'm gonna come over here real quick. Say hi, Tina Bojan. Hello, Tina Bojan. Bojan, Kiwi Lass, still here, 5x5. Thank you very much. No, you're good, Green here. No problem. TY's here. Lima Charlie, thank you very much. Licking Charlie, or licking chicken is what we would say back in the Army. Loud and clear. LC means loud and clear. Loud and clear. Otherwise, we would say licking chicken. All right, let's keep going. We are, by the way, if you guys are popping in now, we're talking about a story that just came out today where an incident back in 2016 where a massive ship with thousands of sailors and Marines managed to suck up God knows how much diesel fuel that it emptied out on one side of the ship while it was sucking up potable water, water to be desalinated on the other side. And the ship came to a full stop and sucked all this up in there to be distributed for drinking, cooking food, washing, showering, all that stuff. See, and it's being completely covered up. This story only dropped this morning, and it's blowing my mind. All right, this Gonzalez guy continues to say, however, in addition to interviews with the crew, military.com obtained documentation proving that fuel was in Box's water supply. Imagine that. Aaron Rawlings, a former Navy corpsman, medic, assigned to a Marine reconnaissance platoon who continues to work in healthcare, printed out an email from the 13th MEU, shows fuel had gotten into the water supply on the USS Boxer. The document was authenticated by other Marines who served on the ship. The email, dated from March 15, 2016, has the subject line fuel in the water, and it is categorized as being of high importance. It's signed by the watch officer and tells the crew, be advised, there is fuel in the water. There is bottled water on the mess deck for consumption. Somebody's not telling the truth. Rawlings told military.com that he was concerned for his Marines after being exposed to fuel in the drinking and bathing water. He wanted the incident documented in case their exposure created health issues later on. That's a great practice. That's why anybody who's in the military, if you, especially like Tina, you got your kid going into the military, make sure you document everything. If you have any kind of medical issue whatsoever, make sure that the person documents that, goes to the doctor, has it on record, because that can become very important later on. This is the same kind. This stuff why so many veterans get screwed out of shit so much now, because the information medical issues were not properly documented while they were in the military, and so they can claim that their issues was not due to their time in service. So he placed a copy of the email in each Marine's medical files. This is a good dude right here. That's looking out for your troops. It is unclear how the oil lab would have explained the sudden drop in fuel for the daily fuel and water report. A detailed accounting of all the diesel and drinking water use submitted to ship's commander. Military.com filed a request for those logs, but was told they are retained by the Navy for only 3 years and have since been destroyed. That is something I've never fucking heard of. Okay, I'm aware that of how with classified information, I've heard about practices where after 50 years, if the documents have to be on file, and then they can be declassified after 50 years if it's a classified document, and it's not uncommon for the documents to be destroyed because it needs to they need to open up space in the files or whatever have you. The idea of that logs get destroyed after 3 years, I can't imagine that. I've never heard of something like that. I don't know if that's some sort of a Navy thing or something like that. I know Gal Tiff there, green hair anti-liberal, was a Marine. Let me know if you've heard of something like that. But that's fucking shady as fuck. These documents don't exist anymore because they got destroyed. Anyways. I'll keep going. Let me go here real quick. See some comments over here. Oh, everyone's just saying hi to each other. Hey, everybody. All right. I love this story. I mean, this is obviously really fucked up, but this is one of the reasons why I find I watched the show Chernobyl multiple times, the HBO series, because it's fascinating to me to see the level of the conspiracy, the amount of cover-ups, and just how like this chain of fuck-ups can happen to make something so disastrous, which obviously is not on Chernobyl type level here. It doesn't sound like anyone's died from this, but there is a lot of people who have permanent damage in different medical issues on this, and just this massive cover-up. There's just people who just fucked up here, did something really fucked up, and they're covering their own asses instead of taking care of people who need medical help now. All right, fuel in the water. When the crew began to notice the pungent smell of fuel coming from the taps, the Boxer found itself unprepared to deal with the tainted water. The ship provided a small ration of bottled water, but it ran out quickly. Crew members were told that if they wanted drinking water, they could buy it from the ship's store, but soon that ran out too. So that's so fucked up too. They run out of their potable water. They can't drink the freaking water that the ship is providing. So they tell them you can buy it. You can use your cash to give you this life-saving essence of water. instead of just saying, hey, we're in an emergency situation. Let's open up the fucking PX or BX, whatever they got on the ship there, and fucking hand this shit out and keep your fucking sailors and Marines alive. Fucking dicks. But again, if they did that, then that would have to acknowledge that someone fucked up, and they didn't want to do that. Nicholas Ross, a former Navy corpsman and more than a dozen other Marines and sailors, both officer and enlisted, interviewed by military.com, said the ship repeatedly claimed the water was safe to drink. Ross said he remembers the smell and taste making you feel nauseous. Ugh. Problems, let's see. Stephanie Ritter, who I haven't seen here before. Welcome, Stephanie Ritter. Agree. Why do they have to pay for it? Yeah. Because people are too chicken shit to own up to their fuck ups. I see it all the time. Problems with drinking water aboard Navy ships is hardly a new phenomenon. Well, getting gas into it is definitely not new. I mean, it's pretty new. Haven't heard of that before. Nor is a delay in a ship acknowledging issues to a crew. Experts and myriad former sailors regularly relayed anecdotal accounts of fuel contamination while serving aboard ships throughout the Cold War and into the present day. A 1975 report. Okay, we're gonna talk about past incidents. I mean, I'm not saying it doesn't happen. Of course, especially older ships. Pipes crack and stuff's gonna happen like that. I'm sure, of course, it does happen, but subsequent investigation into both incidents released by it's talking about an old one. Okay. You guys get the idea. I'm not going to go much more into this story. I read earlier there where they reached out to the captain, multiple other different high level people, and no one's talking, no one's saying shit. Again, silence is not a sign of admission or something like that. They don't have to say anything, but still, though, there's enough evidence that looks like this did happen, and again, here talking about health issues. I mean, there are people who have continuous problems with their guts. There's somebody who says that they've got a continuous skin issue. I mean, there's tons and tons of people who have a lot of different medical issues, and they can't get disability claim. They can't get disability for this. Here's the really fucked up thing I was trying to get to. They're not getting treatment for this. They're not getting compensation for this because there's no acknowledgement that this even happened. And that's what's so fucked up here. If somebody would just come out and admit there was a fuck up, then these people can be taken care of like they should be. But these selfish fucking individuals like that Gonzalez fuck, who it sounds like he may have been the one, who knows? He might have been told by somebody else. It's just one person after another covering their own fucking ass instead of just admitting that something really fucking bad happened here that hurt a lot of people, but they're too worried about their career. And it's unfortunately, it's just not that uncommon. It's not that uncommon. It happens a lot. So we'll see where this goes. I don't know what kind of recognition it's going to get. I will, if you guys want to look at this article, I'm going to pop it into the chat right now. Let me get over here. I should have put it in the video description, but I didn't think to. There you go. All right, so I've got it dropped in the chat. If you guys want to take a look at that article, spread it around. This is one of those types of things. I think it's very beneficial to raise awareness of this kind of thing. Obviously, not make immediate accusations. Everyone is innocent until proven guilty, unless you're a leftist and you make accusations on people all the damn time. And we're always fucking guilty in their eyes. But no, these people need to be held accountable. They need a day in court or court martial, UCMJ. Have them to be able to prove whether or not this did or did not happen. But yeah, Definitely take a look at that. Stephanie says politics with your crew is poison. So piss off. Yeah, no. This kind of shit, like, so when I was an NCO, sergeant in the army, like, I believed, like, part of our creed when I went through PLDC, primary leadership, it's essentially sergeant school. It's an easy way to say it. We just always have to come up with weird, fancy names for shit. Um, it was always stressed on us that number one, as a sergeant in the military, is to look after your troops. Number one, you always, I mean, right down to the smallest things. Make sure, make sure their health is good. Make sure they're drinking plenty of fluids and eating food right, and then then obviously, you're PT and them, so you're making sure their physical fitness is up to par. But even make sure they're doing shit right, like financially. Like, make sure, if they're hurting on something, help them out, financially. Not give them money, but at least give them advice. If they're fucking dumbasses going out to the strip club every single night of the week and emptying their damn wallet. But you're looking at for your troops, man. And that's something I really believed in. And so it really just, this kind of shit really pisses me off beyond belief, to see people more concerned about their damn career rather than looking after their troops. So that article really caught my attention. And I hope you guys found that interesting. Like I said, please give that a share out there. I'm gonna have to drop that article on Twitter as well. But I want to say hello and thank you to everyone who's here, as well on Rumble and on Facebook. No, I'm streaming on Twitter again today. I'm experimenting on going between streaming on Twitter and on Facebook. I don't know how much value really streaming on Twitter has, but I want to try it out anyways. So again, I am paying attention to the live chat on Rumble if anyone wants to comment on there. Let's go ahead. I did want to drop this again. Just as a reminder, I'm not expecting a lot out of it. But I am having a couple of beers, and I do have my Redneck Riviera whiskey sitting next to me. If anybody wants to, we'll do a cheers to anyone, any super chat. But I will take a shot of the amazing Redneck Riviera from John Rich for $20 or more. Yeah, only brothers have each other's back. Yeah, well, I mean, I think anyone who's a good troop, whether you're soldier, airman, marine, all that good stuff, good troops look out for each other. But like I said, more than anything, a leader should look out for their troops as well. You need to take care of your troops, because one of the things is also 18-year-old kids are fucking dumb. That's the reason why we have dumbass privates, because they're fucking dumb, because they're straight out of high school and they're fucking dumb and they need to be looked after. Now, obviously, you're going to put your boot up their ass every once in a while when they fucking need it. But other than that, you're going to take care of them. You take care of your troops take care of you. And yes, you got each other's backs as well. When I was a young soldier, me and the other guys on the team, we had to have each other's backs. We didn't always like each other, but we had each other's backs. And when you got a good NCO too, I had a good, my second team leader in Italy was especially really fucking great. And I would have done anything for that guy. I would have died for that guy. As I would, if we were in combat, I would have done that for anyone. Hi, thank you. I subscribed already, but it's my first live chat. Okay, so you have subscribed. Welcome to the live chat. If you're one of the Hangover game, Tom McDonald fans, welcome to one of our live streams. I started this political show more because I know that the political audience is out there with the Tom McDonald fans. I know that I mean, the commentary is amazing from you guys, showing all the support for the veterans, for our anti-woke commentary. And so that's why I knew that our Skinamax Saturday show is a lot of fun, which we do every Saturday at 10 o'clock Eastern. It's a lot of fun there. But I know that you guys really appreciate this kind of commentary here with the political stuff, calling out woke bullshit and everything. So that's why I want to do this. We're going to do this every single Thursday, 10 o'clock Eastern, talking with knife hands. And another person just popped in on Rumble, Josh Room 805. I don't do Facebook, but Twitter I would watch on. Oh, you'd watch on Twitter. Well, you watch it on Rumble. I mean, you're there, buddy. Keep on watching on Rumble. I'd rather get those numbers up on Rumble more than anything else. If I could, I would love to have everything go over to just Rumble. Unfortunately, one of the things is that for some reason the Tom McDonald fans are not over there. I have like something like 90 something fans, subscribers on Rumble, whereas I shot up to now up over 4,300 on YouTube because of the reviews, especially the review of Tom McDonald's America, which has now over 63,000 views. So I appreciate the hell out of that. I appreciate the hell out of all you guys, man. And like I said, normally we do have panels. Just today's everyone's a little busy, but you guys are hanging in there. So I guess you might be enjoying hearing just my voice. You know, I would like to take a sip of beer every once in a while, but when I'm all by myself, I feel like if I don't talk too long, then I'm fucking up, and I got to just keep on going. What is the next one I want to talk about? All right, let's talk about something here. I wanted to talk about this last week, but we ran out of time. Last week we had such a long conversation, just going on and on and on about the situation with Trump and their constant attacks on him and everything. This one I found just so incredibly laughable that this is a good transition from something of a heavy topic to just such ridiculousness. This fucking moron of a mayor in New York City, he created a plan with multiple different facets, one of them being to cut down on New York City crime and theft by installing social service kiosks at the entrances of the store. So I don't need to go into this story really. Eric Adams, here's a fucking moron right here. Yeah, here's his multi-point plan. One of which is install kiosks in stores to connect would-be thieves with social media service programs. So, guys, let's think about this. When somebody's going into the store and they're going to commit a crime, how can we stop them? Oh, well, they see this kiosk that's going to offer a social services program, and it's going to talk them out of wanting to steal everything that they wanted to steal. I got an idea. If you want to cut down on gun crime, why don't you just put a big sign up that says no guns? Because the criminals will pay attention to that. And instead of a kiosk in this case, because we know those gun-free zones work so much, why don't just put up a sign that says "Don't steal"? Yeah. Hold on, I gotta play this. This is. Here we go.
You went full retard, man. Never go full retard.
So this freaking idiot actually thinks something like this is gonna work. Where, yeah, this is just more liberal idiocy. They actually think that that stupid crap like this is gonna actually work to cut down on crime instead of just doing something that we know would work, which is put out cops there to enforce the actual freaking laws on the books. I mean, boom, what a concept. Anyways, these guys are fucking morons. It's nothing's ever going to get better in any of these damn cities until things get truly bad enough there where these stupid people keep on electing these freaking idiots are actually going to come in, do the right thing, and vote in somebody who's not going to do that. Like a Giuliani. New York should be at that point now where somebody might wake up and actually vote back in someone like a Giuliani. But I don't know. I think these they're just zombies now. Josh over on Rumble says, yeah, I'm trying my best to watch the YouTube channels I like on Rumble. Well, I mean, dude, like I said, man. Oh, I see what you mean. Yeah. The stuff that you like to watch on YouTube, you want to watch on Rumble. Yeah, I do the same thing. I do get that the issues with Rumble is just not that user friendly. I know that trying to search for certain things and the way it doesn't have a recommended feed, and trying to find stuff from your from what you have for your subscription. It's just a little janky, and the apps are even worse. But the technology will get there. It took a while for YouTube to get to where it is. But it'll get better. Like I said, if I could, I would just get off of YouTube completely and not stream on Rumble. But unfortunately, just my numbers are over here, and this is where the income is coming from. So, but also it is also, I do have the belief also in trying to fight a multi-front war. So to have this content out there for people to find it's really important. See, Stephanie says Tom is freaking amazing. Tom McDonald. I'm in line with his views 100%. My entire family back to before the Civil War was all military. I'm a huge supporter, and thank you for your. I assume you thank you for your service. Well, thank you very much, Stephanie. I really appreciate that. Cheers to you. Yeah, Josh. Yeah, I see. There's like a 4-minute delay when I see the Rumble chat. Well, Josh, you got to remember, dude. I'm looking at this chat. I'm looking at this chat, and I'm also trying to read articles. So, I'm doing my best. I can't get to everything. If I don't get you right away, I apologize. But I'll get you. I'll get you. Let's talk about this here real quick, because I saw this pop up on. Yeah, they should outlaw stealing. Yeah, imagine that. Says Josh. Yeah, what a concept. Let's outlaw stealing. All right. One of my guys, Wookie Be Bad, I think it was, over on Twitter, sent me this just a couple hours ago. I did not get a chance to read this article, but this blew my mind. So let's go ahead and look over this together here real quick. Military drone attacks human operator during simulation. Military groups, I'm going to enhance this a little bit. Enhance. Military groups are only some of the many organizations researching artificial intelligence, but one outstanding simulation by the United States Air Force found that artificial intelligence rebelled against its operator in a fatal attack to accomplish its mission. Artificial intelligence continues to evolve and impact every sector of business, and it's blah 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 blah. They always put so much fucking filler. Just get to the goddamn point. AI is prevalent in the U.S. military. Yep, all scary as fuck. Let's get to the actual story we want to see. Colonel Tucker Sinkle Hamilton, chief of AI testing operations in the Air Force, shared details of a simulated test in which AI-enabled drone was given suppression and destruction of enemy air defense's mission. That's a mouthful. The drone was programmed to seek out and destroy surface-to-air missiles, same sites, but final approval was issued by the drone's human operator. However, when the human operator denied the AI's request to destroy a site, the AI attacked the operator because the operator's decision interfered with its mission of eliminating SAM sites. What? We were training in a simulation to identify and target the SAM threat, and the operator would say, yes, kill the threat, Hamilton said during the conference. The system started realizing that while they did identify the threat at times, the human operator would tell it not to tell it to kill that threat, but it got points by killing that threat. So what to do? It killed the operator. It killed the operator because that person was keeping it from accomplishing its objective. Well, that's not scary at all. When additional programming informed the AI that it would lose points if it killed its operator, it opted for other avenues of rebellion instead. It started destroying the communication tower that the operator uses to communicate with the drone, to communicate the drone to stop it from killing the target, Hamilton said. Hamilton used the simulation as a threat that the military cannot have a conversation about artificial intelligence without also discussing ethics. That's fucking terrifying. Holy shit. This is like a fucking like a kid that throws a tantrum and smashes a window because mom took the Xbox away. Except in this case, it had fucking missiles attached to fucking kill its mother. And wow, that's nuts. Wookie be bad. I don't think he's in here, but thank you for sharing that, man. That's fucking insane. See. How many would steal if we started deducting fingers each time? Talking about the crime stuff. Yeah, that's a good question. Oh, hello Skynet, my old friend, come to talk with me again. Oh, dude, I probably just got a fucking copyright for that. Resistance is futile, dude. AI is scary, man. I don't want to fuck around with this shit. I don't want to fuck around with this AI shit. We need to stop. Especially because the problem that we got going on right now that I've seen. Um, Josh over on Rumble says T1000 with wings. No, thank you. Yeah, I hear you, dude. The problem right now is the biases because it's being shown right now that these corporations, these fucking programmers and whatnot, are programming political biases into these things. So I can't remember one like an example of like uh, not Oprah, but what's her face on the fucking View. Anyways, like talk to this one AI, and the AI just kissed her ass up and down, saying like, "Oh, amazing comedian," and blah blah blah. But the AI is being shown when being questioned stuff about conservatism, will completely say all these negative things. My point is they're programming political biases into this. It's not right now, at least. It's not so much the concern that the AI is going to become sentient, but we're programming it with biases. That is right now where we are in this country is such a big problem that we're looked at as anyone that's right of center um, is looked at as being a terrible person. And I mean, people actually think we need to be dead, silenced, not allowed to speak. And they're programming these kind of thoughts into these super smart computer programs. So guess where that's going to go? And then on top of that, one of the next issues is even if we do manage to convince people, like here in the US or even in Europe, that AI is becoming a problem and we shouldn't do this, well, who's to stop China? It becomes the same problem with the polluting, the global warming, climate change issue. Well, sure, we can do everything that we can over here, but China's not fucking listening. They're not cutting down on any CO2 problems. We're still being called a problem, but they're not going to fucking do it. So they're not going to cut down on the fucking AI problem now. So obviously, there's guarantee that there is a fucking sense of artificial intelligence warfare that's raging right now, just like the nuclear arms buildup. Oh, hey, what's up, Shellback? I didn't see you there.
Eddie.
Okay. I knew this was gonna fucking happen. I need to change my audio setup because I can't hear you. I knew that was gonna happen. I have to change my direction because I have this new device here, this Wave XLR. And I have audio coming through this, which is picking up a lot of stuff, but I wasn't able to hear the video I played earlier, and I knew it was gonna be an issue. So give me a second, guys. I got to get this figured out. I got to change my audio setting.
Boomer.
System settings. And that's not popping up. What the fuck? Anyways, I'm going to keep on. I'll keep on. So one of the interesting things also, while I'm fixing this, I was watching Crowder earlier today. And they were talking about how there's this multi-billion-dollar climate change program that's going on. That it's starting in Europe, where it's something like $100 billion that they want to reduce CO2 emissions by making aircraft to net zero by 2050 or some shit like that. Here's the thing, though, is that one, like I was talking about with China, China's not going to do that. So we're talking about first Europe doing this, and it's already been said that they want to bring in, they want to do that over here as well. People are already saying that this, just like everything, it's a test program to do it in Europe first, and then they'll do it over here in America. Well, here's the interesting thing that aircraft CO2 emissions account for something like 2% or 2.5% of, okay, I've got that switch, of all CO2 emissions, or all CO2 that's in our atmosphere. 2%. So even if we're going to go with that number, we're talking about hundreds of billions of dollars to reduce something by 2%, if that was just the number. But when you start doing the math beyond that, what is the actual amount of man-made CO2 emissions in the air entirely? 8%. So you're talking about 2% of 8% reduction. The math ends up coming out to something like 0.02% reduction of all CO2 emissions. Hundreds of billions of dollars for a reduction of 0.02%. And China ain't going to play along. So who the hell thinks that makes any fucking sense whatsoever? I don't.
Negative.
Okay, Shellback, say something.
Whoa. Hello.
Oh, yeah, I still can't fucking hear you. Oh, wait, I know why. Hold on. Hold on.
You
I'm
sound funny now.
because I got the wrong device in.
Power on. Connected.
Say something now.
Something now.
Still can't fucking hear you.
Really?
Am I not?
Can the audience hear me?
Well, any fucking time, sweetheart.
All right. Well, the audience can hear me, so. And nobody can hear you. You're on mute. Can't hear you. Okay. Yeah. Keep telling him you can't hear him. Sound like I'm in a spacesuit. Well, I got no fancy equipment here, so.
That's fucking now. Now I know you guys can hear me.
Oh, there you go. Can you hear me though?
Since I did that, okay. I know what I fucked up there. I know that I still. Okay, I'm gonna do this. Hold on. I think this will fix this problem. Okay.
Fuck it, we'll do it live.
And I still can't hear Shellback. Fuck. Okay, how about now?
How about now?
Oh my god, yes.
Yay!
What a fucking shit show. Holy
Yeah.
crap.
And you don't sound funny either.
Dude. I mean, I was
See what happens when you upgrade?
Yeah,
Problems.
Well,
Problems.
It helps if you actually understand what you're working with, if you understand the technology when you upgrade. But obviously, I am going through the serious, painful learning, growing pains here. Common Nerds in here, Boomer Vets. Yes, welcome to the Boomer Vet stream, everybody. Yeah, it didn't even occur to me because I was going between different windows. So it didn't even occur to me for the longest time that you guys couldn't hear me. I thought that I was changing my speaker settings. I had no idea that I changed my mic settings as well. Yeah. So, yep, Josh is in here. Josh says this is why I hate technology. For another beer. Oh, dude. Okay, I was just about to end the stream there. I'm like, fuck it, I give up. But we're here. We can add on a little bit more. Go ahead.
Well, don't touch anything. Okay, don't touch anything. But there is. I'm hearing like an occasional like, popping. Like little
there's another issue. Yeah, there's a connection issue. I was fucking with this earlier. This is not cheap either. Everything on here is expensive, well, except for the boom arm. The boom arm needs to get replaced. But there's a connection here with this cable that got fucked up. And if I were to touch it like just a little bit, it'll just go complete static. And then I gotta like readjust it. I don't know how it happened. Thankfully, I do have another cable. I bought a 2-pack by accident, but I'm going to replace it with the other cable, and hopefully that one works because there's definitely something wrong with this one. All right. What did Clinton say? Adam peaked his new mic for a second. Audio sounds good on both ends. Yeah. Yeah, it's all learning experience, man. Crackly for some reason, for some random times. Okay. Yeah,
so where were we?
Well, we're at me want a fucking shot at this point. But no, I'm not finishing up right now. Jesse. Jesse, if you want to hop on, dude, the links in the Vets Talkin group on Twitter. I got a couple other stores I'm gonna hit up here. But yeah, if anybody wants to buy me a shot, please do. I do a social for any drink, but we'll take a shot for $20. Shots. I don't usually do shots on Thursday, but I really want to do the ghost pepper challenge today, and I wasn't able to do it, so I'm kind of upset. So yeah, I'm really questioning if I want to try it or not, but God knows if I'm taking something that I know is really, really fucking hot, it's not gonna be for no fucking $10 or $20. I can tell you that much. But it'll be an accumulation. So anybody wants to drop it, a super chat, then it'll all total up. But we'll do that another time when I get something figured out.
When you have an extra big glass of milk.
Oh yeah, that's another thing. I got to buy regular milk because I drink. I have almond milk, which I'm pretty certain is not going to be. It's not going to be the same thing as regular milk because that's the only thing that really saves you from burning your fucking esophagus. Let me. Were you listening earlier, Shellback, when I was talking about the Navy ship that poisoned its own crew?
No, I was actually. I think I was still fast asleep at that time.
Well, I'm not going to go through the
But
whole thing again because I already went through the whole story with the
yeah,
audience here. But so
yeah.
this story dropped today. Military.com's been investigating this for years, and they finally put the story out. This happened back in 2016, where this ship, it's the amphibious, it's one of the ships that has all the MEU on it with all
Yeah,
their
the Gator
ships and everything.
freighter.
It's
Yeah,
it's a giant fucking ship that has all the fucking their beach storming vehicles and all that.
yeah.
And they fucking dumped fuel off the right side of the ship while it was still intaking water on the left side. But then the
Mm-hmm.
captain apparently didn't know they were doing that and called for an all stop, and it just sat there while it was just sucking in this fuel into the potable water.
Mm-hmm.
But nobody's coming clean about it. Guys who worked in the oil department there told military.com this is what happened. But the guy who even gave him the order, this Gonzalez guy, claims, I have a really good memory and I don't recall that happening. I don't recall anything having any issues have to do with any of the water, but nobody wants to come clean. First off, I'm curious, have you even heard about this, that ships will dump fuel into the water even though they're not supposed to?
Oh no, I mean, not like that. No, but I mean, there was. I mean, it's not an unheard
Thanks
of
for being here, Tiff.
occurrence.
Mhm.
Because I was never ship's company. I was attached to a squadron, or I was on shore duty. But
Mhm.
when I was in a squadron that went to the Constellation, that who is no longer in service. But anyway, there were at least a time or two where they're like, don't drink the water because they're somehow some way some JP8 has found its way into the water system,
Right.
and they would have to basically they'd have to purge the whole system, and then they'd be like, okay, we're good to go now. So even uh there's that possibility for things like
Well,
that to happen.
what happened with this though is that because it was a massive fuck up, nobody would own up to it. So like
Mm,
they just sat there while this fuel was being sucked up, and nobody apparently, I guess that nobody even bothered to tell the bridge crew what they just did because nobody wanted to own up to it. So
mm,
this went on for I don't even remember how long. I didn't want to read the whole damn article, but I read it earlier, but I can't remember how long. But they would deny, like people were going through, like they had to send emails to each other, like the Marines were telling each other, dude, there's something in this water, don't drink it. They're troops were being warned, don't drink the water, drink bottled water. But no one would really admit to the fact that the water was contaminated because it was such a massive fuck up, and nobody wanted to admit they fucked up. So this is not just oh yeah, the water got contaminated, let's purge everything. They just let it keep happening.
mm.
What's up, Jesse?
What's going on, guys? How are we doing tonight?
Doing all right, man.
That
How
is.
about you? You ever drink
No,
diesel?
yeah. Say what?
You ever drink diesel?
Not intentionally, but as an aircraft mechanic, you kind of learn to taste chemicals by, you learn to figure out which chemicals are by the taste and the smell.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. You ever got it on you? Ever had it burn you?
I don't think I ever have. A JP8 was about the worst I ever got, and I don't think it didn't really burn, but apparently it did cause all your male sperm cells to die.
Oh, I believe it.
Because that was one of the funny things we found out about fuels. Until you made about E5 or E6, you never had any males for some reason. Weird concept. But of course, it's all perfectly okay for us to all be around all the time and consume and swim in and all of that kind of stuff. So,
Yeah.
welcome to the federal government. Thank you.
I just
Yeah, no, I was listening to you guys about this. No,
Yeah.
I have had buddies of mine. Now, as far as dumping the fuel and sickening its own crew, that's a little bit different. But I have had buddies of mine that flat out told me that if they are overseas and they need to dump whatever out of their ships, they don't give a shit. If they're overseas and not in the United States, they'll just open up the bilges and just dump whatever the fuck they want out.
Yeah.
So this wouldn't surprise me at all.
No, I'm not surprised. Well, what is weird though is that another part of the article, I know that they were saying that it sounds like they were likely within the borders of Korea, like I forget what the name is, but there's a distance out from the shore that does belong to that nation for resources and whatnot, and so they dumped it into their water. So that's another aspect of how fucked up this situation is. But nonetheless, yeah, I mean, that's all fucked up on its own. I do believe that 100%. Yeah, it's the same thing. Like, you know, the fucking environmentalist shit. You know, we were always told in the army that if you drip even one drop of oil into the soil, then you have to report to the EPA or some shit.
Yeah.
They had to bring a cleanup crew, and they were gonna fucking, you know, tear up the soil and all that. No one ever fucking reported that shit.
No.
Fuck, not a single time. That shit, those fucking things would drip all the fucking time. You spill gas, shit. Never one single time would anyone ever actually report that.
It was so funny too, because I was in tech school and we were, you know, as being a structures mechanic, we also paint, right? And so one of the kids took some, I don't know, it was probably like what did we all used to use? What MK? What was some
Ultra?
of the really nasty? Huh?
MK Ultra. No, what are you talking about?
Well, yeah, MK Ultra. No, there was something that was like an MK, but there was a lot of nasty cleaners and strippers and all kinds of shit you use. Priming,
I knew some nasty strippers.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely, 100%. But go ahead, Shellback.
I was gonna say, did you guys ever use Turco?
That one doesn't sound familiar. No, we used like acetone. We used paint thinner.
Acetone's the one I knew. Yeah,
yeah. But there was something else that was called MK or something MK, and I don't remember what the hell it was. But we had one of our kids pour the shit down the drain in the sink in our paint room while we were in tech school. And it was so funny to watch because the kid asked the honest question. He's like, how would they even know? And the instructor goes, well, you're supposed to have the integrity to tell people. And it's one of those things I'm like, bullshit. Like, whatever. You spill some shit out there. You guys are stuck. You got a C-130 or you got an aircraft stuck out in the middle of a field. And that son of a bitch dumps oil all over the place. Are you going to call the EPA? No, you're going to get your plane fixed and get the hell out of there as fast as possible. Like that shit was always such bullshit. So that's why we all that's why all the vets get cancer. That's why everybody that went to the desert has a burn pit issue. You know what I mean? It's like, yeah, no, we all know that like all the shit you guys exposed us to was absolutely horrendous. I have a buddy of mine that only has like 20% of his lung capacity because he was a painter over in England and they weren't making them wear their respirators when they were crawling inside of fuel tanks, making them paint them. You know what I mean? So it's like, yeah. So it's like all of this safety bullshit and everything else they teach you in training and all that kind of stuff. It's garbage when you get to the field. And we all know that. We all learn that. That's why, like I said, we all end up with cancer.
I'm really happy. I at least had the foresight when I was in Iraq in 2003. We hired a bunch of locals to redo our I think it was just our ceiling panels in this old Iraqi building at Kirkuk Air Base. It was all shredded shit. So we hired these locals to come and tear everything out and put in all new stuff. And I was on security detail to watch these guys. And as soon as they started tearing shit down, this dust just blew everywhere. And as old as this building was, I was like,
fucking asbestos.
100% chance there's asbestos here. I did my entire security duty in my fucking gas mask, which those guys thought was hilarious. Those guys looked at me and they were laughing. Ah, you're funny American. No, me is smart American. Me no gonna die from cancer like your stupid ass.
Right. Dude, I worked in a hangar out here at the Army base that we still had our because this base has been here since like the 50s, right? And it was a Navy base initially, and then the Army took a portion of it over. But like we had one of our control rooms, like one of our electrical rooms, like literally while I was working in the hangar on aircraft, they completely clothed that damn thing off and they were going in there clearing out the asbestos. Wow. And I was like, I'd worked there for like 2 years. Yeah, no big deal. Whatever. Yeah, no. Yeah. God bless the military and God bless the U.S. government.
Yeah, I keep on meaning to get on that fucking burn pit fucking watch thing. I was all over that shit. My first tour, I wasn't at one of the big bases, but we had a fucking burn pit right outside my damn fucking room on my first tour. And mind you, it's on a fob that's just 60 of us, but we still burned everything in there. And then I spent a fair chunk of my second tour in Fallujah, which was one of the worst. I remember going and having to dump shit out there. That fucking, just as soon as you start getting close to that fucking burn pit facility, it was just this noxious fucking chemical smell. So
Yeah,
we'll see.
that whole EPA and all that other bullshit goes out the window as soon as you're fucking military and in another country.
I don't understand the whole dumping of fuel though, or whatever with that boat, because the only time I ever heard of like fuel dumping was, for aircraft.
Well, they said in here that it would happen if the fuel was contaminated in some way, then they would dump the contaminated fuel. Yeah, I don't recall exactly. And of course, in this case, I mean, the guys who were talking, they weren't even the guys in charge, so they didn't even know why they had to do it. They're just being told to just dump the fuel. But like I said, even in here, they said it's not uncommon. Like they knew that they're probably not supposed to do it, although they didn't know for sure. They just assumed that it was bad to do, but they just do it anyways, and it was not uncommon. So.
And that's the worst part too. The military sticks you with all of these rules and all these regulations, telling you got to follow this and you got to follow that. And then as soon as you get out in the field, you're like, oh, you learn everything so much different. Like nobody gives a shit. They just do that stuff.
Yeah.
And like, all these green psychos and all the rest of this stuff, it's like look, shit happens. You know what I mean? The ocean's 5 million billion freaking gallons of water. You know what I mean? It's like, but the fact that they poisoned the wrong guys, it's like fucked, man. That's so fucked. And of course, this happened in 2016? So we're learning about it 4, 5, 7, 8 years later?
Yep. And only because military.com did the investigation into it. Otherwise, this probably would have never got out.
No, absolutely not. They would have covered it up the entire time. They would have never let anybody know. I had a buddy of mine that was in the Navy back in the early 80s and the 90s, back before we were supposedly in the desert. You know what I mean? Him and his whole freaking squad, they tried dishonorably discharging them just to cover up their bullshit. You know what I mean? And he flat out refused to sign any of the paperwork. He was like, no, I'm not doing this. So they medically discharged him. And so it was like anybody that thinks the federal government, anybody that thinks that these fuckers aren't going to try to cover up shit or try to hide their bullshit. Like, I'm sorry, Bubba, you're living in a delusional world. Any one of us that's lived around any of this stuff for any length of time knows better.
Yep.
So yeah.
That reminds me is I forgot I'm going to be I did this on my weekly Woke Warrior news video, which I do want to do more of a series of pre-record videos where I'm going to call out some woke news that's coming out for the military. And in each of the videos, it's going to have a link down there for how to find your senator, for how to find your congressman. And I always want to put out, if you like what I'm saying, if you like this content, then why don't you contact your congressman and let them know what you think? I want to do that for this too. So I don't have the link available in this video, but if you're pissed off about the military covering up the this kind of shit when they're hurting their fucking service members and not taking care of them, contact your congressman and let them know what you think.
And here's the thing about that too. Doesn't matter party or any of the rest of that kind of independent or any of that kind of BS. When a veteran calls a government office, there is a log of it. Okay. It makes a difference because we are situated, elevated above a little bit others. Now, are there certain groups that maybe are not going to give a shit and ignore that? Yeah. But more often than not, the majority of the time, the fact that you get on that phone, you get on that and you make that message and you go, I am a military veteran and you guys are screwing my brothers and sisters over by doing this, then it does have a tendency to make an impact. So don't ever think that those phone calls and those emails and all that kind of stuff don't make a difference, because they do. They have to see every single one of them. Every time you tweet at them, every time you email them, because of the security issues, every single one of those has to be looked at by someone. So don't think your voice doesn't matter. Don't think that phone call doesn't matter. Don't think that email doesn't matter. Don't think that tweet doesn't matter. Trust me, they have to look at all of it, and it does make a difference. It all adds up at the end.
Over on Rumble side, military 1428 says, "I would go to jail if I let them know what I think." Well, just don't make threats. How about that? Just keep it copacetic. You don't gotta voice your entire full opinion about things and what you want to do to them. Which we don't condone any violence whatsoever here on Vets Talking. I just want to let that be known. But give them an earful. Just don't say anything that's going to get you thrown in jail, though. But I appreciate you there, military. Thank you for the comments.
And I
also appreciate Shield's content. MK Ultra and Nasty Stripper sounds like a party. That's what we like to party here in Vets Talking there, girl. What are you saying, Jesse?
I was saying, I don't speak for Vets Talk, but as my personal self, after a fair trial, whatever the jury decides is up to them. And that's how I look at it. So after a fair trial, of course, because we live in America, we live in that kind of situation. Everyone deserves a fair trial. What happens to them after that? It's up to the system. So,
yep. I can agree with that. All right, let's talk about the next stupid fucking story, because we haven't talked about enough that's already pissing us off. But this is an angry one, but it's also a win at the same time, because something I never knew about, that an annual Pride Month family-friendly drag show is being held at Nellis Air Force Base. Oh, excuse me. Which Lloyd Austin, Secretary of Defense, says the DoD neither supported nor funded this event. Well, then why and how is it happening?
If you are using an Air Force facility, if you are using any government facility, it is automatically supported and funded by the taxpayers.
Yep.
So that statement alone is absolute bullshit. And here's the thing, too. Coming from an Air Force guy, okay, I saw this shit probably my last year or maybe a few years afterwards, but I remember hearing about this. They were doing drag shows in front of military officers for military officers. And of course, I made the joke at the time that it was, oh, well, what a shocker there. Big military officers are all, love to watch drag shows. But like, yeah, no, it's infected every aspect of it. Like,
well, so I mean,
coming from a guy that's from
here's the point that I'll make this. That for one, and they were talking about this. They were having this kind of debate about this on Crowder earlier today. This is actually where I learned about this. That there is a difference between the drag show, which is just meant to be campy, fun kind of thing, which I never got the fun out of it. But I've had people who I even knew who weren't any kind of liberals or whatnot would talk about fun that they had at a drag show or some shit. It was before like they started like pushing on kids. But that is the big difference, is the degeneracy now that's really gotten to where it is sexually perverted, and they're forcing it and they're bringing their sexual perversion on kids. That's the fucked up thing about it. And anytime they're pushing a family friendly drag show, no, none of this shit is supposed to be family friendly. That's like saying family friendly strip club. There's no such fucking thing. All right. So a family friendly quote unquote drag show being held at Nellis Air Force Base is nothing but fucking disgustingness. It's being funded and pushed by our Department of fucking Defense.
100% on that one. I mean, and that's. Go ahead, Showback. I've talked enough.
Oh, I was just gonna say, well, I mean, look at who our freaking commander in chief is,
and the Secretary of Defense.
Yep, wow. Lloyd Austin. Who I think.
But I mean, it's one of those things that this should never be appropriate on a military base. This should never be something that is federally funded in any way, shape, or form. Because guess what? Half the country doesn't agree with that. And that's the problem, right? And you know what? I'm a huge Rocky Horror Picture Show fan. Absolutely love that movie. I went to the theaters, lost my virginity in, Little Rock, Arkansas. Went to one of those things, had some beers, had a really great time. Absolutely love it. But under no circumstances would I ever in a billion years take any one of my 4 and on the way 5 children to a Rocky Horror Picture Show before they were 18. And it's the exact same thing.
You lost your virginity in Little Rock, Arkansas.
That's what they call it when you watch the Rocky Horror Picture Show for the first time at a theater.
I was gonna say, was it your sister? Since it was Arkansas.
No, brother, I'm from Missouri.
So
I was stationed in Little Rock, Arkansas. I was stationed at the air base down there. It was so funny too, because join the Air Force, see the world, get stuck 6 hours from your home.
What part of Missouri are you from?
Kansas City area, mostly. I graduated from Holden, Warrensburg, that kind of area.
Shellback, you're from the south east side, right?
Yeah.
And I'm dead center at Lake of the Ozarks.
No, bottom, but yeah,
it's center. I mean, it's a little bit south of center, but it's still considered center.
Yeah, that's true. But
Fucking Branson, Springfield is southern.
That's true. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, because I used to drive through Springfield. When I was coming home from Little Rock, I used to drive through Springfield all the time. Especially, I drove through there after I drove through there after the fucking tornadoes came through and tore that town up. And holy shit, that was that a mess. Sorry, just random thought.
Yeah, no, you're good. Now, I wanted to highlight this picture on here because I don't know what the fuck's going on.
Where's his mask?
There. But this fucker over here, this fucking Green Beret
Millie.
Ranger tab motherfucker over here, Millie, that dude has got to be compromised. I do not believe for a second that somebody with this guy's kind of fucking career actually believes in white rage and all this fucking white supremacy bullshit. This dude is compromised. Somebody out there has a fucking videotape of him diddling fucking kids or some shit, because I don't fucking buy it.
Well, he flat out what he told us. He told us in an interview that he flat out said that he told his Chinese buddies over there, the Chinese generals, that if the former president of the United States decided to try to actually go after China, that he would warn them first.
Yeah.
Like, how the fuck is that guy not on trial for treason?
Yeah. No, he made a deal with the Chinese, guarantee. He either made a deal with them or they've got dirt on him.
He definitely needs to be put on a wall. Disclaimer. No.
Honorably discharged.
He needs
after
a
fair trial.
Court-martial. He needs to be investigated and be court-martialed. If he's found of treason, then there are certain things that can happen, but he deserves a fair trial like anybody. Shellback is trying to kill my channel, apparently.
That's exactly what I said.
Shellback, stop.
That's
what I'm saying.
I have a censor button on this fucking Stream Deck. My Elgato Stream Deck has a censor button now, and I can't fucking use it. That was the perfect time.
He's just talking about after a fair trial, whatever the jury decides is the appropriate punishment. Right. But we all know what treason entails, so it's okay.
Exactly.
We don't need to state because people twist our words. That's the problem.
Common understood what I was saying.
I understand what you're saying too, but as soon as you say certain things, things can get taken out of context. That's all I'm worried about. Anyways, at least it was a win. Mr. fucking Matt Gaetz there managed to get a win on that and got that canceled. But that still is fucked up. I don't know if that at least on Crowder they're joking that it's annual. I don't know if it's happened before, but dude,
no, I guarantee it's happened before.
Freaking Gaetz, I don't know about you guys, but from what I've seen of Gaetz, I like him. I think Gaetz would make a good vice president. Hint, certain, if anybody's listening.
I do really want to go far. Let's go Chip Roy. You want to talk about a vice president, somebody that'll actually get things done? Freaking Chip Roy. He is the one that's been coming out for the Freedom Caucus. He's been the one out there talking about all that kind of stuff. He's been the one out there making those public statements going, look, these are a bunch of rhinos that are going to screw you. And that's exactly what they're doing right now with the latest budget bill. You want a really good vice president? You want a really good guy that could potentially be president later on and actually do a damn good job? Look into Chip Roy. I met him in Houston last year. It was so funny too, because last time he was in Congress, he was so quiet. He was kind of meek. He was just kind of doing what he does and all that kind of stuff. And then he was out of it for a few years. And then he saw what was going on inside of Congress. And he's like, I'm going back. I'm going back because this stuff has gone insane.
I've seen like several news articles or whatever of him, but I don't think I've ever watched a video with him in it. So I don't know. I'm gonna take your word at it that he's like a freaking pit bull, on the hill, but
yeah.
And I would say that I do like Gates as well, but there's just something about the guy. He just comes off Weasley to me, though. He's got that look about him. He looks like he's a fucking weasel.
I think it's the look of his face, honestly.
Yeah,
I think
it is.
And the greased back hair doesn't help anything either. You know what I mean? Like,
but look at all the ones that don't look like weasels that actually are weasels. So.
Well, Ty says Chip Roy backs DeSantis. I don't have anything against anyone who backs DeSantis. I don't. I will be happy with either a Trump or DeSantis. Yes, I'm aware of all the dirt that's going on. It is fucked up, some of the shit DeSantis has done, but DeSantis was still, in my opinion, just my opinion, be a great fucking president.
I agree with you on that. And here's my issue with that too. And I'm going to be very careful when I say this so that way I don't get your channel in trouble. But until Trump...
You guys just want to torch me or what?
No. I said I'll be careful. Until Trump answers for certain decisions he made during his presidency that caused massive amounts of, well, let's just say issues, there is no fucking way in hell I am ever voting for that bastard. Because he needs to answer for what decisions he made. He needs to answer for the fact that he turned his presidency over to somebody else, and that other person devastated this country and this world for several years. And until he addresses that, there is no way in hell I am voting for him. And that's what irritates me about the simps for Trump, because you guys don't want to talk about that. I have friends of mine that will never be the same because of what he did, because of what he allowed to happen. And until he answers for that, sorry, I'll vote for a libertarian before I vote for him.
He does need to speak out about it. It is fucked up that he still continued to talk about the jab and promoted it long after.
After all the evidence.
Booed. He got booed for it all the damn time, at least. But and obviously I'm not him, but I think that you've got to admit that it definitely, if you were to put yourself in his shoes, then it seems very likely that he was being led astray by people who were advising him. We know he was surrounded by snakes. He was surrounded by snakes in the fucking grass. And that he had a lot of people that he thought he could trust. There's a lot of people he thought he could trust who guided him in the wrong direction, who were probably a part. I'm a conspiracy theory guy, man. I totally believe that there was conspiracy in the fucking Oval Office to get him to make the moves that he did. And he did that because he didn't fucking know any better. He knew he did what a good businessman would do if he was not in a position where that he's used to. Be like in the military. If you got thrown on a detail that was outside of your specialty, you're going to have to take advice from somebody else. You're going to have to find somebody you can trust to guide you in a certain way. You may not know if those people are trying to sabotage you. Maybe they're trying to get a promotion, get your job. That's a good possibility, but you just don't even know any better because you've never been there before. This dude has never been in politics before, and especially when it comes down to the COVID situation, we've never had a president have to go through that since the fucking the Spanish flu. So I can't even imagine what he had to go through in his mind, the mental gymnastics he had to jump through to try to rationalize the shit that went through. And him being, of course, we know he's a fucking narcissist. That's very well known. So he obviously took credit in his mind for Operation Warp Speed and saw that as his baby, and he wants to take credit for that because he still saw it as an accomplishment for a long time.
But this is the worst part is Trump's instincts are generally good. More often than not, the way he thinks about going in a certain direction is generally the right way to do it. And this is the worst problem. He was right about certain things early on in March and February and in April of that year. And then he got attacked by the media for those things, the same kind of things that Joe Rogan talked about. And it turned out, well, look at that. Weird after all these years how things turn out. All the conspiracy theories seem to turn out very factual. And yet he decided to ignore that and listen to his son-in-law instead of listening to his own instincts, instead of listening to the experts that were hired around him. I mean, Peter McCullough, Dr. Peter McCullough is a great example, but Dr. Peter McCullough was in the White House with them. And you read his book, you listen to his chapters, you listen to his stories about how all of that went down and how things worked inside of the White House, and you will understand completely exactly what happened. Because Dr. McCullough went in there and tried to fix things, and he got blocked left and right, every single thing. And the funny part about that is when you read his books, it's so funny because he tries to bring all this information, he tries to bring all this documentation, he tries to bring all this science, this actual science to the situation and go, here's what it is. And he basically got laughed out of the room because they're like, we're not doing that. We're going to do what we want to do. Even though he had evidence saying that this was the correct path to go forward, and they just blew him off. And he got 5 seconds with Trump one time, and he immediately got knocked down by McCullough and Fauci. Like, he got literally yelled at by both of them for trying to speak the truth.
Well, I mean, Fauci, yeah, of course, you know.
But Birx too, and Debbie Birx. I mean, fuck, Trump was in love with Debbie Birx. So, hey,
Tina Bojan says the healthcare industry pushed President Trump into backing the vaccine before it was fully tested with that. Shit, I said the V word. With that quote unquote emergency use waiver. However, it is not to. He's not to blame for the mandates.
Oh, I agree with that. I completely agree with that. He's not responsible for the mandates, but he still needs to take accountability for what he did do and what he is responsible for, because he screwed up a lot during all of that. We had a great 3 years of glorious President Trump, the economy, the everything else.
Okay, but again, though, with the statement you just made, did he really fuck things up, or were the people who were whispering in his ear fuck things up?
Brother,
where do you really put the blame?
No. Let me ask you something. You're Army, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So when the enlisted fuck up, who is responsible for it? The officer or the enlisted, or both?
Well, again, it goes, same thing with the oil, with the gas thing in the Navy ship. Yes, of course. Yes, the leader needs to take responsibility.
How many times have we seen that happen in the military and all this other kind of stuff? What was it? The guy in, I was in the Air Force at the time when the Louisiana guy, they screwed up and they lost nuclear weapons. Like, they were supposed to be transporting them to another base. They thought they were transporting dummies, and they actually transported actual nuclear weapons all the way across the planet all the way across the country without authorization. Who got fired for that? The general of that base. He lost everything, even though there's no way that general could have had any influence on what was happening on that ground level. Didn't matter. It's his job.
Let me ask you this then. If Trump came out and said, basically, like we just said, I acknowledge that what happened was a mistake. I acknowledge that Operation Warp Speed was a bad idea. And he took blame for it. Would you be willing to forgive him?
100%. I'm a Christian. I'm all about forgiveness. Like, if you're willing to admit you screwed up, if you're willing to admit your sins and confess them, that's the thing to do. That's the difference between us and the other side, right? That's the difference between us and all of those nut jobs out there on the internet and everywhere else, right? That's the difference between us and them. We have no problem going, if you're willing to admit you were wrong, we'll take you back. The other side, you step one single tiny, teeny, even the thumbnail of your tiny toe out of line, and they will destroy you. But that's the difference between us. That's why we're free thinkers. That's why we're willing to let people back in when they're willing to admit their mistakes. Right. So yeah, if he came out, because he had I went to one of his rallies down here in Texas. You know what I mean? I'll probably never go to another one again because my God, my legs hurt afterwards of waiting for so long. But at the exact same time, it's one of those like if he came out and said all of that, I'd be like, dope. All right, I'm back on board. Let's do this. I'll give you a shot now, and we'll have DeSantis. He can take his next round. But the thing about it is like you said earlier, his ego. I don't think he's ever going to do that. And I'm sorry, I can't vote for somebody who's not willing to admit their mistakes.
Well,
I just can't. I'm willing to admit my mistakes. I make mistakes on YouTube all the time, and I'll talk about them. But I'm not gonna take somebody like that. Sorry, Showback. Go ahead.
For the think of it like this though. Put your political lens on. If he was to public like, oh yeah, I listened to so and so or did this or whatever, and I shouldn't have whatever it is that you think that he needs to for lack of a better term atone for. I think it will only add fuel to the fire for his opponents. To be like, look, see, he was,
Go ahead. Sorry,
he was incompetent or whatever. It would just give them more freaking, talking points or whatever to spew bullshit. If he was to be like, oh yeah, I'm sorry, I don't,
I get what you're saying.
I don't think it would do any good.
Well, guess what? I'm not going to vote for him unless he does. And that's the thing. I'm his base. Okay. Those people you're talking about that will try to use all of that against him are people that are never going to vote for him anyway. Those are ideologues. Those are people that are completely and totally possessed by the spirit of the cult and the spirit of the age. It doesn't matter. That's the biggest screw up Republicans have in this day and era is trying to concede to the other side, thinking it's going to help them win. You know what that has caused us to happen? We have children being bad things happening because our side has conceded. I live in Texas. Okay. I have a Congress that is supposed to be 80% Republican. You know what the problem with that is? They just impeached my attorney general, okay, who is one of the few people in this country that is fighting back with lawsuits against not only President Biden, but also all of the other evil, nasty shit going on out there. Okay. So I'm not giving anybody the benefit of the doubt anymore. I'm done. You either comply and do what I want, or I'm not going to vote for you, because here's the thing. The other side is never going to vote for you. There are people that are in the middle. Obviously, there are always independents. The independents are always the one that matter. But at the end of the day, you trying to cater to the other side is not going to cater to the independents, because most of the independents, honestly, consciously think like us. They're like, no, this shit is wrong. That's why you saw what happened in Virginia. Right? All those school boards and all the rest of that crazy stuff. Hello, lovely Sherry. All of the rest of that crazy stuff that went on in Virginia. That's the reason why you saw all of that stuff happen. That's why you see like governor change. Because guess what? 80% of the population doesn't agree with this insanity. So stop trying to cater to them. We've seen it happen in media. Look at the state that Disney's in. They haven't made a movie that has made profit in literally almost 2 years. Because guess why? The main street, the majority of this country does not agree with your ideology, does not agree with your BS. And that's why they're not going to see your movies. That's why all your movies are losing money. It's the exact same thing with politicians. These politicians need to wake up and realize that the only people that matter, the only people that are going to vote for you is your actual base. Cater to them, because if you lose your actual base, you're done.
Yeah.
So real quick, I want to acknowledge our Rumble chat real quick. First off, hello to everyone else who's hopped in. First off, Jesse bringing the fucking heat, real knife hands, fucking energy there. This is exactly what we need. Fucking Bet's talking the knife hand. He's got that. You got that knife hand strong right now.
I was stationed in Pensacola. I was around a bunch of Marines. I can't help it.
Oh yeah, you got that.
Kill.
Knife hand.
Every time I saw my ID, it was kill.
So I'm going to do my best to pronounce your fucking name here. Canardian Guardian. Canardian Guardian. Okay, I think I got that right. Canardian Guardian. First off, welcome. Welcome to the chat here on Rumble. I'm sorry I can't highlight you like I can with the YouTube, unfortunately. Talk to StreamYards. That's the issue. Yeah, I'll just call you Ken. Well, dude, I gotta acknowledge this. I don't know if you mean it means a joke or not, but you say wait, so you really think voting matters. Look, okay. Again, I don't know if you're being serious or whatnot, but I still do want to harp on whenever somebody even says that as a joke. My opinion is, and I have to be careful because we're still on YouTube. If we were exclusively on Rumble, obviously I wouldn't have to worry about this, but I have to be careful when I talk about the erection. It is my firm belief, erection firm, that the 2016 erection, we won that because of strong, overwhelming numbers that hopped over what they were expecting with how they played their game for that erection. Now, what happened in 2020 was a different story, but we managed to beat them in their own fucking game. And it is my firm belief that as long as we stay strong and understand that we can beat their system and get out there and still vote, and also get out the word, get out the energy that things can actually change. We need just one more presidency. We need someone like a Trump. I get, Jesse, I understand why you have an issue, but here's my especially my big belief, especially that Trump now understands who to trust and who not to trust. I think he's learned a very, very strong, painful lesson in who not to trust. And I think he's going to get ready to get in there and clean fucking house. That is my hope. That is my belief. I am staying hopeful now. I can hope in one hand, shit in the other. I may find myself with a handful of shit, but I do believe and hope that he has learned his lesson and that he will get erected and that he will clean house, do what needs to be done, and fix the fucking system. Because at that point, he won't fucking care. He will fucking be scorched earth motherfucker, burn this motherfucker down if he has to, like hopefully like with the FBI, clean that fucking house from top to bottom and rebuild it back up. But I do firmly believe that we need to focus on actually getting the vote out there to make that happen. Because yes, they're going to play games again. Where they can get away with the games is another thing, because there's a lot of people fucking got eyes on this shit now. But we can overwhelm the numbers because we did that in 2016. I guarantee that was a landslide win for him over Hillary. I guarantee she got nowhere close to fucking the numbers that she actually did. They just had to play their card too strong in the next direction. That's the only reason. Go ahead, man.
No, Shellback, go ahead. You first.
Going whether you believe it counts or not, it's my humble opinion that you should go through the motion of voting anyway. Just it because it's a whatever I'm trying to say of you got skin in the game, so to speak, right. And as far as like what Common is saying about why he doesn't feel like he wants to vote for the Orange Man, any politician or anybody running for public office, if they have to be, a certain level of perfect for you, you'll never vote for anyone. So, despite, any, because I mean, when the whole warp speed thing and all this stuff, I'm sorry, I don't care. It wouldn't have mattered who the president was. I would have been like, no, like, freaking emergency use, freaking, basically experimental bullshit. I'm like, no. I was like, I don't care, who it was, and which it's funny because, when Orange Man was in office, the freaking Dems were like, no, I wouldn't take this stuff. I wouldn't put this stuff in my body. But as soon as one of their own got put into the freaking big chair, then it's like, oh, you need to get it. Come on, come on. It's like, but anyway, yeah, it's I'm just gonna tell Common, I'm like, don't. I know you feel a certain way, but I think you should show a certain candidate a little bit of love, when he gets nominated, because let's face it, he's gonna get the nomination.
Well,
But
and to kind of real quick, I'll let you get there here in a second, Jesse. But real quick to piggyback off of that and get back to Ken here on Rumble, says, okay, great, I disagree with you, but that's not to say that I won't or don't vote. I just don't think it actually does anything. Well, but trust me, I understand. I understand your pain.
mm-hmm.
Trust me, is a reason why black pilled has become such a thing now, and I get it, man. Trust me, I was in Arizona during the last election, and I was at Maricopa County trying to help out the Trump campaign there. And trust me, it was devastating for me because I went there to try to help out and to find out all the corruption that happened. Again, I might have just fucked myself by saying that, but I get it, man. But we still got to fight on, dude. They want you to be defeated. They want you to have that sense of being defeated. They want you to also to spread that defeat, dude. That is a fucking virus. That negativity, man, that you've got, it's a virus. And I'm sorry to say, I love that you say that you still vote. But dude, you got to understand that by telling other people that voting doesn't matter is going to be a virus that the left wants you to spread. They want other people to believe that voting doesn't matter because they want you to feel defeated. That's the only way they're going to win. And I don't know how else I can instill a sense of positivity onto you other than to just say, just don't fall down like that, man. Fucking stand yourself up. If you still feel beaten up since the last election, then I'm sorry, dude, just dust yourself off, have a drink, pump yourself up and say, I'm getting ready for the next fight. You got to do it, man.
And something else, putting that vote into that ballot box is the perfect knife hand opportunity. Come on. I mean, look at, it's, yeah.
But no, you're right, Shellback. And this is the thing too. So, because I've been very active in my political sphere here in Texas, in Southern Texas. And it's one of those things. I went to a class because, I've thought about being a politician. I've thought about being a politician since I was in high school. And it's one of those things. I went to a class it was an 8-hour class about how to run a campaign. And these were a couple of guys from the Arkansas, once again, full circle, Arkansas Republican Party, that they literally turned the college towns in Arkansas red. Okay. So these guys are experts. They kind of know what they're doing, right? And these guys told us flat out, there has never been a single election that there has ever been more than 3% of cheating. Okay. So that being said, here's the thing. If 3% is the number, and I know some people were like, oh, 2020, still 3%. Why? We can get into that if we ever go to Rumble. But, and I will explain all of that to you, I promise. But that being said,
we'll switch 3%. Over there. We'll switch over there here in a little bit so we can talk the rest of what we want to say uncensored.
But yeah, that being said, the 3% rule is pretty much general over all elections. So think about that for a second. When you think about the fact that you're telling people your vote doesn't matter, 3%, that's all it needs. Imagine that in your local elections where a city council seat or a mayor seat or a county seat is literally can be literally decided by 30 or 40 votes. You ain't got 10 or 20 friends that you can take to the polling place with you. You know what I mean? Like we can overcome those odds. We can overcome those numbers. It takes us overwhelming the system because here's the thing. Based on everything that we've seen in the media, based on what we've seen with, the box offices and everything else, we are still the majority. The common sense people are still the majority. The problem is for literal decades, we have been silent and not said anything. And that's been the problem. Our goal, our task, one of the decrees from the Lord himself is we are supposed to be watchers on the wall. We are supposed to keep an eye out for this kind of thing. We are supposed to stop this kind of thing before it happens, or we're at least supposed to tell our people as best we can that we have, or that what's coming, right? And we failed at that. You know, it's the old the quote from V for Vendetta. There's plenty of people to blame, and there's plenty of people that are going to get the blame and the punishment they deserve. But at the end of the day, we have no one to blame but who we look into the mirror at, right? It's ourselves. We are the ones to blame. We failed as citizens. We failed as soldiers. We failed at all of that kind of stuff because we were not being the watchers on the wall to keep an eye out for this kind of stuff. And now we are in a situation where now we are trying to pick up the pieces for generations that came before us. And we are going to do it. I have no doubt in my mind whatsoever that we are going to win. But it's going to be hell until we get there. And you know what? I will take that hell because I have 4 children and a 5th one on the way. I would much rather all of us sit here on the internet and on YouTube and scream about all this kind of stuff and change more minds than what comes after that. And that's what we're doing. Look at pop culture, right? Pop culture is a great example because what's the old adage, right? Everything is downstream from pop culture. Politics is downstream from pop culture, right? We are starting to win pop culture, okay? Because there are companies out there that are major institutions that are now going, you know what? Can't do all your identity politics BS because it destroys our fan base. Warner Brothers is a great example of that. But there are other places out there. There are independents out there. If you want good quality stories, we are growing that right now. The Iron Age is here. Eric July made $3.5 million in a 2-month campaign on a comic book. Okay. What's that mean? That means Eric July now has the money to not only produce a bunch more comic books, but now he has the money to produce animated shorts. He has the money to produce, mini video games, just small little things. But how do you think Hollywood started out? Hollywood started out with black and white silent films. So yeah, is it going to take a decade? Maybe. But you know what? Here's the other thing about that. The reason why I got a 5th kid on the way. Okay. Because the other side doesn't do that. They don't do those kind of things. They don't reproduce. They believe doing that is wrong or evil, right? All we got to do is hold the line for a generation. So what, 20 years? All we got to do is hold that line. If we can do that, if we can keep these monsters away from our children for that long, they're all going to fade away. They're all going to die off because the main street doesn't accept them. That's obvious. And so since we are the reasonable ones, since we're at least the free thinkers and willing to agree to disagree on things, then guess who do you think that main street's going to come looking for? They're going to want good stories. They're going to want good quality entertainment. Nefarious is a great movie that came out. It was a great horror movie, but it was made by Christians. But it was still a horror movie and it was scary. So, but yeah,
I wish you, I love the rant altogether. There was a point there that I really wish you would have stopped off, and I was very ready to hit you with this.
Well, thank you, sir. You're too kind. Thank you very much. But yeah, that's just,
it's good rant. Good rant.
I believe in our system. I believe in our system. I believe in our Constitution. I believe our Constitution is exactly what I was taught in school. That is the best system that has ever existed. Is it perfect? No, not even close. But guess what? Humans aren't angels. If we were all angels, we wouldn't need a constitution. You know what I mean? So it's one of them situations where that is there. That system deserves to be defended. And honestly, I'm of the opinion, and I'm the same opinion that I was in 3rd or 4th grade when I said this out loud. I get that not every culture is willing to accept our form of government. But by God, we have seen some of the most glorious cultures from enforcing our way. I hate to say that because I don't like that. I don't want to push my ideology on anybody. I want to present it to them and let them accept it. But after what we saw in Afghanistan for 20 years, for 20 years, there was women going to school. There was women getting jobs. There was equality. There was all of these beautiful things. You know what I mean? And I've seen some of the refugees that got out before everything went to shit. And these are girls that were damn near at the level of college education because we had done that, because we had like I said, I don't like forced, but because we had put that kind of ideology into their world. And now, as soon as we left, it all went to hell. I'm not saying we should have ever been there. I'm of the opinion that I don't want to be the world's police. But at the exact same time, that doesn't mean we should not promote our ideology in our media. Because our ideology, our media, the US's Hollywood is the number one in the world up until probably the last couple of years because a lot of stuff they've done. But overall, we are the number one. Everybody wants to see our
number
stuff.
one export.
Absolutely. And so if we bring back that patronage, if we bring back that constitutional ideology and put it back into that free thinking storytelling, that's how we spread. That's how we spread our ideas across the world, through stories, through poetry, through all those kind of things. If we can do that, we can save this whole thing. But the problem is there's a bunch of evil, rotten bastards possessed by the devil out there. And I honestly don't mean that figuratively.
Yeah,
to a certain degree,
no,
that you're never going to win over.
Yeah, I want to. I do want to end this over on Rumble so we can say a few of the things that we want to say uncensored without Papa Susan slapping us in the pee-pee. So we're not gonna go much longer, but we are gonna end this over here on YouTube and on Twitter. What's that?
You just got a super chat. You got a super chat.
Oh, where'd that see? Look at you, Clinton House, my man. Thank $20 from Clinton House for the epic rant and show us your lunch, Adam. I hope you ate good today for that pepper. I had a pretty damn good steak earlier. I cooked a steak and I was pretty upset. I ran out of my veteran-owned steak seasoning. I can't remember the name of the company. I can't remember the name. I'll promote it another time. But I ran out of my steak seasoning. Instead, I used some other stuff. The steak still turned out fucking fantastic. A little asparagus grilled on the fucking right on the oven. I don't need to get fancy with the grill or anything like that. But Mr. Clinton House, thank you so much. Again, we don't usually do the shots on the week. I have other games I want to play with that. But I'm going to go ahead and give you... I don't want to make you guys have to throw up from the other one that we played last.
Freaking out.
Okay, go.
I fucking love it.
Every time I see that, I see Super Troopers. Yeah.
Yeah, no doubt. Yeah. Cheers to you, Mr. Clinton House. Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
Cheers, Clinton. Thank you.
All right. So with that, we'll still leave it up, of course, if anybody else wants to drop some. And so I would love to see one pop up on Rumble at some point. I'll at least even cheers you for $1 on there. I have no idea how it works. I've never gotten any money off of Rumble yet. Although I do know my videos have accumulated something like 60 cents worth in watch times or something like that.
Do you stream to Odyssey as well?
No, I don't do Odyssey.
You should do Odyssey just because of the fact that literally if somebody sends you a super chat or something like that, they will literally send you that money in like 5 days. Because I had my birthday stream I had my birthday stream last week and somebody sent me like $2 and I got like $1.50 on Monday. So yeah, you should definitely stream to Odyssey. Stream to Odyssey. Just for that. Plus, I always tell everybody on my channel, be everywhere. Be everywhere until they kick you off. You know what I mean? And yeah, Odyssey's a solid platform. They're good. Yeah. You're not going to get a lot of growth. You're not going to get a lot of people, but you know what? They're good about treating creators properly. So just my
one more time, I did drop the Rumble link earlier. I just dropped it again. So we're gonna hop over there. Not for very long. Like I said, we're just gonna say a few things that we want to say that, so we don't have to talk about erections. But guys, thanks so much. Common, Shellback. Yeah, you both got channels. Pitch them. Go ahead, Common, Jesse.
Oh, yeah, sure. So thanks for having me on. As always, Adam, I love these vets talk. I love hanging out with my fellow veterans, my brothers and sisters in arms. And thank you to all of the chat for being here. You guys have been absolutely wonderful. I am the Common Nerd. I bring you pop culture and all things nerdy through a common sense lens. I crossed 3,000 subscribers today.
Hey, yeah.
Absolutely. And I could not have done that without every single one of you. You guys are amazing. You guys are incredible. I appreciate all of that. You guys are literally keeping the lights on as far as my YouTube channel is concerned. But yeah, It's a great thing. I roast the stuff that deserves to be roasted, and I praise the things that deserve to be praised. So if you like the idea of the Iron Age and a lot of the new media, independent media that's coming out, come check out my channel. If you like to watch Disney and all of the rest of the nut jobs out there get roasted, by all means, come hang out on my channel because we do both. So yeah, it's a great time. And I do a live stream Monday through Friday at 11 a.m. Central Standard Time. We do a Wednesday show at 6 p.m. Central Standard Time every single week. And a lot of time we have independent comic book creators. We have independent creators come on, or sometimes we just roast all the good stuff. And then if you're looking for, on the off chance that you're looking for a little bit of morality, we do a Sunday stream on 2:00 p.m. every single Sunday, where we go over books of the Bible and try to figure out maybe we can learn a little bit from history and try to figure out how the world is going forward. So yeah, come check me out. It's a good time. It's a great time. We have a good fun. And of course, there's always a lot of good vets hanging around too. So that's my favorite part about all of it. So thanks for having me. I can't wait to get over to Rumble.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, you got to have me on your channel sometime. We got to talk about that.
Oh, yeah. Oh, absolutely, dude. Absolutely, brother. We'll have to get you on one of these Wednesdays.
Yeah, I think I was supposed to be on your birthday stream, but I was busy doing. I think I was still in Tombstone at the time.
Yeah, you were, and there was a lot. I had a lot of people come on, and so like I had people like pinging in the back like 3 or 4 times, and I was like,
yeah,
I gotta kick somebody out. And I was so fucking intoxicated. Like I was like, I'm just whatever, you know. So we had a great time.
Well,
it was an absolute blast.
I'll pop on there sometimes. Everyone, definitely everyone be sure to check out the Common Nerd. I gotta start adding you onto the video descriptions too. I haven't done that yet, but I'll start doing that. Mr. Shellback TJC, the Navy veteran. Hoorah. Where can I find you, buddy?
Well, you can find me on the YouTubes and the Twitters under Shellback TJC, and I just want to say, how Common was talking about, politics is downstream from culture. I just want to encourage everybody to promote freedom culture. Right. I mean, if that's one thing that, one shining light that we Americans have put upon the world is the idea of freedom. And as a wise man once said, those who would sacrifice freedom for security deserve neither.
Shout out to Benjamin Franklin.
Amen. Absolutely, dude. Thank you for that. Thank you for that, buddy. One more time, we'll drop this before we. America, fuck yeah! So that being said, I am going to play the outro here. We are not turning off on Rumble yet. For the Rumble audience, you guys stay right there. I'm going to play this outro for the rest because it just looks better and sounded confusing as fuck. Holy shit, I got my first Rumble rant from Ken. Okay. From Ken. He said I can call him Ken. $3 from Ken. Great show, gents. Rumble Takeover 2023. Let's go. And with every single super chat, or I guess Rumble rant as well, we'll do a social. So I'm doing a social. I'm drinking to there, buddy. I'm just going to assume everyone else. Yeah, you got beer there. I'm going to assume Shellback's drinking with a social. Thank you for my very first Rumble rant there, Ken. I appreciate that, man. Thank you very much. Now I just got to figure out how to get my money out of Rumble. I don't know how to do that.
Sometimes that's the hard part.
Yeah. So, okay, everybody out there on the YouTube and on the Twitter side, switch over to Rumble. It is in the chat. Everyone in Rumble, stay right there. I'm not turning you off, but for everyone else, I hope you enjoyed this content. Double tap that like and subscribe. Share this content out there with everybody because you don't got to be a veteran. Just don't get butt hurt. You've been warned.
Oh, God! Ah!